So someone called Harry's call for aid corridors to Gaza a diplomatic disaster waiting to happen. A diplomatic disaster. Imagine asking for food and medicine to reach children who are starving and dying, and someone calls it a diplomatic disaster. Harry was in Jordan, as we know, at the invitation of the World Health Organization. He visited refugee camps, he met children who had been evacuated from Gaza, and he saw amputees who lost limbs to all those bombs. He spoke to doctors and humanitarian workers on the ground. And when he asked about the situation, he said that food and medical aid should definitely be reaching Gaza urgently in order to help the people. Now, this is a man who's advocating for starving children to receive food, a man who called for medical supplies to reach people who are injured and dying, a man using his considerable platform to amplify a humanitarian crisis that the world is watching unfold. But apparently, to certain people and derangers, this is not acceptable, because this is apparently Harry overstepping, and this is apparently a disaster waiting to happen. Having said that, I want to take you back a bit and tell you about an actual diplomatic disaster. Think back to March 2022, when the other brother and the other girl went on their horrible and totally disastrous tour of the Caribbean. This was meant to be a charm offensive. This was meant to shore up support for the monarchy in the Commonwealth realms. And this was supposed to be the other brother and the other girl doing what they do best, which is apparently showing up and looking good. However, as many of us remember, it did not go well at all. It was one of the worst disasters that I'd ever seen when it came to royal tours. Because in Jamaica, and God bless Jamaica for this, the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, actually told them to their faces that Jamaica was moving on. In fact, I remember he didn't even let them take a seat. They were standing, he was standing, and in front of the world cameras, he said to them, "We are moving on." He said Jamaica intended to become a fully independent republic. Ouch! He said that they were ditching the British monarchy as head of state. So imagine your grandmother sends you on a simple errand and you couldn't even deliver. And I'm so proud that the Prime Minister said that to their faces on camera and during their official visit. That was a truly disastrous diplomatic tour. It was terrible. And the Prime Minister of a Commonwealth realm looking at the future King and Queen and saying, "We do not want you anymore. We are leaving. We do not want to be part of you. And the monarchy means nothing to us." That burn, no amount of aloe vera can soothe it. And it wasn't just Jamaica. In Belize, they had a part of the tour cancelled because of protests. Local communities were actively objecting to the visit, and the people did not want them to be there. In the Bahamas, yes, in the Bahamas. See, this is why I love records, right? And this is why I love receipts. In the Bahamas as well, there were reparations protests. People demanded acknowledgement of the slave trade, and people demanded accountability for colonialism, and people demanded more than a photo opportunity with two royals who absolutely came empty-handed and had nothing to offer. The entire tour was a catastrophe. It was roundly criticized as being tone deaf and out of touch, and that's because the wrong people were sent. The optics were terrible because the other brother and his wife were even photographed greeting children through a chain link fence like they were visiting a zoo. And they also did something which many were trying to say, oh my God, it's a nod to the Queen and her husband. Unfortunately for them, because they have no independent thinking and they have no minds of their own, they rode in an open top Land Rover like it was still 1952. Say what you will about King Charles, he is smart enough to avoid such optics. The coverage, as you can imagine, was brutal. Even the British press had to acknowledge it was a total and abject failure. Even royal correspondents admitted that the tour had backfired spectacularly. And that was the other brother and his wife. That is a diplomatic disaster. That was the monarchy's flagship couple failing publicly on the world stage. But unfortunately, many people have decided to sweep it under the carpet and they don't call it a diplomatic disaster anymore. Nobody brings up Jamaica. Nobody brings up Belize. Nobody brings up the Bahamas. Instead, they're trying to frame Harry asking for food and medicine to be delivered to Gaza. They're trying to frame it as a diplomatic disaster waiting to happen. I believe that every projection is a confession. They're simply projecting their own failures onto Harry and Meghan. That's what I truly believe. Now, also, we had a situation where bad uncle allegedly passed very confidential UK trade secrets to a convicted pedophile. According to reports, he shared very sensitive information from his time as trade envoy with Jeffrey Epstein. He also allegedly provided commercially sensitive information during the government rescue of the Royal Bank of Scotland. I've spoken about it in a previous video. He also allegedly shared details of confidential briefings that he received while he was on trade visits. And yet, the words diplomatic disaster have not been used when it comes to Andrew. But sure, Harry is the problem. Harry calling for food and medicine to reach children is the height of it all. For me, it's the framing. I always say to you guys, watch the language. They lie as the sun rises. They just lie and lie and lie, trying to gaslight us in real time. But many of us are not going to stand for it anymore. So yeah, I think getting told to your face that a country is leaving you and your ilk behind is one of the biggest diplomatic disasters. And Harry asking for food and medicine like the true humanitarian he is kindness personified. But let me know what you think in the comments, please. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Luxpreneur. And for more insights like these, please like, share, comment, and follow me. And to support my work in holding truth to power, please buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Elizabeth Solaru or pick up a copy of my book, The Luxpreneur, today.